Deep inside a hidden jungle lab, ants transformed into alien-human hybrids escape into the wild. Spider-Man investigates, only to be captured and knocked unconscious by the monstrous swarm. Alone and weakened, he faces a nightmare as the alien ants spread destruction through the forest. On a distant secret mission, Superman receives word of the invasion too late. What follows is a desperate battle for survival as Earth's mightiest heroes confront their strangest enemy yet. The secret lab breakout. The jungle was never silent. Cicadas screamed from the trees, monkeys howled in the distance, and rain dripped from leaves in endless rhythm. But tonight, something felt wrong. Hidden far from the outside world, deep beneath a canopy of giant trees, a secret laboratory hummed with machines. White-coated scientists moved nervously from station to station, staring at glass chambers filled with glowing green fluid. Inside those chambers crawled ants, but not ordinary ants. Their bodies pulsed with strange light, their legs twitched unnaturally, and their eyes glowed a faint shade of alien blue. The experiments had worked. The DNA, spliced into their cells, stolen from a meteor fragment that had crashed Earth years ago, was rewriting them. Dr. Kelman, the lead scientist, leaned closer to the glass. His voice trembled. We're seeing exponential growth. Their brain activity is its human level. Another scientist, younger and terrified, whispered back. We were supposed to control them, not create this. Before Kelman could answer, the glass cracked. A hairline fracture spread, like lightning, across the chamber. Alarms blared. The scientist backed away, but it was too late. The chamber shattered, spraying green fluid across the lab floor. Dozens of ants the size of dogs scrambled out, their mandibles clicking in unison. They didn't scatter like insects. They marched in formation. The lights flickered. Somewhere, a security door slammed shut, but the ants were already in control. They swarmed the guards, leaping onto faces, biting, injecting venom that paralyzed instantly. Within minutes, the lab descended into chaos. The scientists screamed, but their voices were cut short. When the alarms finally stopped, the only sounds left were the clicking of mandibles and the slow, synchronized footsteps of something new. The ants had become more than insects. They had become a colony with a purpose. Miles away, swinging between the steel towers of New York, Spider-Man's phone buzzed in his mask. He perched on a rooftop, still catching his breath from stopping a robbery, and tapped the side of his ear. Yeah? Parker here, he muttered. Nick Fury's voice crackled through. Spider-Man, we've got a situation in South America. An off-the-books lab went dark. Satellites picked up movement, too much movement. Not human. You're closest. Get in, assess, and report back. Peter groaned. Can I at least finish my pizza first? Not today, kid. Suit up. This could spread. 5 minutes later, Spider-Man was riding a shield jet south, his mask pulled tight, his thoughts racing. He had fought plenty of villains, Green Goblin, Doc Ock, even Thanos, but something about this mission gnawed at him. Fury didn't usually call him in alone for global emergencies. The jet landed just beyond the jungle tree line. The pilot didn't even cut the engine. Good luck, Spider-Man. You'll need it. Peter swallowed hard and leapt into the trees. The jungle was dense, humid, and alive with sounds. He swung from vines when there were no buildings, crawling over massive roots like a jungle cat. His spider sense tingled faintly, like a static charge running over his skin. Okay, Pete, he muttered to himself. Find a creepy secret lab, take a few pictures, punch a few bad guys, and be home in time for... The thought cut off. His spider sense exploded. Something was behind him. He spun around just as a black shape lunged out of the foliage. It wasn't a jaguar or even a man. It was an ant with the torso of a human, standing upright, its mandibles dripping venom. Its multifaceted eyes glowed blue, and its voice clicked in a horrible, broken language. Spider-Man froze. Okay, definitely not normal. The ant lunged. Peter shot a web, pinning its legs, but 2 more burst from the undergrowth. They moved fast, unervingly coordinated, like soldiers trained in combat. He leapt high, kicking one ahead, but the other clawed at his arm, slicing through his suit. Venom dripped onto his skin, burning like acid. His vision blurred. He webbed himself to a tree branch, swinging wide, trying to shake them. Fury, next time, maybe bring the Avengers instead of just your friendly neighborhood guy, huh? The ants didn't laugh. They didn't hesitate. They clicked their mandibles in unison, as if sharing one mind. Within minutes, the jungle came alive. Dozens of them emerged, crawling from the shadows, standing upright, their bodies half human, half insect. They surrounded him. Peter fought, webs flying, fists landing, but every ant he knocked down was replaced by two more. Their venom burned through his veins, slowing him. His arms felt heavy. His vision doubled. The Ant Lord appeared at last. He was massive, 8 feet tall, armored in black chitin, with glowing eyes that pulsed like embers. His mandibles curved like blades, and in one clawed hand he carried a staff made from shattered lab steel. He stepped forward slowly, and when he spoke, it wasn't a hiss. It was words, broken, distorted, but words nonetheless. Spider. Man. Peter staggered back. Oh, great. You can talk. That's not creepy at all. The Ant Lord raised his staff. You will feed the colony. Before Peter could fire another web, the ants swarmed him. Dozens leapt at once, burying him under their weight. He struggled, kicked, punched, but the venom was too strong. His limbs gave out. The last thing he saw before blacking out was the glowing eyes of the Ant Lord staring down at him. When Spider-Man woke, he was bound in thick, silk-like strands of alien secretion. The walls glistened around him. He wasn't in the jungle anymore. He was inside a hive. The air was humid and stank of decay. Thousands of glowing eyes watched from the shadows. The Ant Lord stood at the center, his voice echoing. The jungle is ours. The world is next. Spider-Man pulled against his restraints, his heart pounding. But the venom was still in his blood, and the colony had no intention of letting him go. For the first time in a long time, Spider-Man realized he might not make out alive. The jungle awakens. The air was thick and foul. Spider-Man blinked, forcing his eyes open. The world around him pulsed like a living nightmare. He wasn't in a lab anymore. He was inside a massive underground hive, its walls built from hardened soil and some strange alien resin that glowed faint green. The buzzing of millions of wings echoed like a low chant through the tunnels. He tried to move, but thick strands of sticky secretion pinned him to the wall. His wrists, ankles, even his chest were cocooned. He twisted and groaned. Okay, not my best vacation spot. 0 stars. No Wi-Fi, no pizza. From the shadows, shapes stirred. Dozens of alien human ants crawled forward on 2 legs, their mandibles clicking. Their bodies twitched with unnatural rhythm, as if one heartbeat drove them all. Then the largest figure stepped into the glowing light. The Ant Lord. Up close, he was worse than Peter had imagined. 8 feet tall, chitin and gleaming, veins glowing blue. His mandibles moved with slow precision as he studied his prisoner. His voice was deep, layered with distortion, like 100 voices speaking together. You are the first to see the new colony. Spider-Man squinted through the haze of venom, still burning his blood. Cool. Do I get a t-shirt that says I survived creepy bug cult? Or is this a one-way ticket? The Ant Lord ignored his sarcasm. Humanity poisoned this planet, burned its forests, destroyed its balance. We will rebuild. This jungle is our cradle. The world will be our nest. Behind him, the ants chittered in eerie unison. Some carried broken machines from the destroyed lab. Others dragged unconscious scientists, their bodies half covered in resin. Peter's stomach twisted. You're planning an invasion, he whispered. The Ant Lord leaned closer, mandibles clacking. We are already here. Peter's spider sense screamed. He jerked his body violently, snapping one of the resin bonds. His hand came free. In a flash, he fired a web, yanking himself off the wall. The sticky strands tore loose, and he tumbled onto the hive floor. The Ant Lord roared, and the chamber erupted in chaos. Alien ants lunged from every side. Peter rolled to his feet, shaky but alive. His arms felt heavy, his muscles weak, but his instincts took over. He fired webs in rapid bursts. Thwip, 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 pinning 2 ants to the ceiling and another to the wall. He flipped high, kicking another across the hive floor. "You guys are like the world's worst pest problem," he shouted, dodging a spray of venom. "Where's an exterminator when you need one?" But for every ant he put down, 3 more replaced them. They moved with terrifying coordination, predicting his strikes. Their claws slashed his arms, tearing through his suit. Venom splattered onto his mask, sizzling holes in the fabric. Peter staggered back, panting. His vision blurred again. His spider sense sparked like static in his skull. The Ant Lord raised his staff. "Fight, little spider. The colony grows stronger with every drop of your blood." The ants surged forward. Peter leapt onto a resin column, clinging to the slick surface with his fingertips. He swung himself around, kicking 2 ants off the ledge, then shot a web at the ceiling and yanked himself higher. From above, he saw the hive in full view, an underground city, tunnels spiraling down into endless darkness. Thousands of ants crawl below, carrying food, building structures, expanding. The colony wasn't just alive. It was multiplying. "Okay," he muttered. "Not good. Not good at all." He swung down, using his momentum to knock 3 ants aside. He landed in the middle of the chamber, surrounded, his chest heaving. His fists clenched. "Round 2, bugs. Let's dance." He fought like a whirlwind. Webs snapped, fists cracked against armored skulls, legs lashed out in powerful kicks. For a moment, he felt like he was holding his own. Ants collapsed, resin snapped, the hive floor shook. But then a clawed hand raked across his back, tearing his suit. Another slammed into his chest, sending him flying into a wall. He gasped, wind knocked from his lungs. The Ant Lord stepped forward, towering over him. "You cannot stop what has begun." Even now, the colony spreads through the jungle. Peter struggled to stand. His knees wobbled. "I've stopped worse than you. And guess what? I don't quit." He lunged forward, swinging his fist. The punch landed squarely on the Ant Lord's chest with a satisfying crack. But the alien barely moved. Instead, the Ant Lord grabbed Peter by the throat and lifted him off the ground. Peter kicked, choked, clawed at the grip. His vision darkened. The Ant Lord hissed, mandibles snapping inches from his face. "You will be the first human drone." The ants swarmed in, wrapping him again in resin, binding him tighter than before. His mask was torn, his strength fading fast. He struggled, but it was useless. Pinned against the hive wall, Spider-Man could only watch as the Ant Lord raised his staff toward the ceiling. A strange hum filled the chamber, echoing through the tunnels. Far above, in the jungle canopy, thousands of glowing ants crawled from the soil, swarming across trees, devouring everything in their path. Birds shrieked and scattered. Leaves withered. The jungle was waking, not with life, but with invasion. Spider-Man's heart pounded. He knew he couldn't hold this off alone. Somewhere far away, he hoped someone, anyone, was listening. Superman's discovery. The silence of space stretched endlessly around him. Superman floated above a dead moon, scanning the remains of a destroyed satellite. His mission had been simple: recover data that hinted at alien interference in Earth's orbit. But as he reached for the cracked black box, a sharp pang stabbed his chest. His senses flared. Something was wrong. The faint cries of distress, faint even across galaxies, reached him like whispers. His super hearing focused, tuning through the chaos until he found it. Spider-Man's voice, weak but defiant, echoed in his mind. "Round 2, bugs. Let's dance." Clark's jaw tightened. He knew that tone. Peter was in over his head. Superman shot back toward Earth in a streak of blue and red. The stars blurred into rivers of light as he broke the atmosphere. Within minutes, he was slicing through clouds, his cape snapping in the wind. His eyes burned with heat vision, scanning the jungle below. And what he saw froze him. The forest was alive with movement. Ants the size of wolves swarming in endless streams. They climbed trees, devoured birds, and dragged entire branches into massive tunnels. Strange alien resin covered the jungle floor, glowing with unnatural light. The invasion had already begun. Superman landed with a crash that shook the earth. Trees bent backward as he hit the soil, a shockwave blasting the swarm away. The ants hissed and regrouped, circling him like predators around prey. His eyes narrowed. "All right, you picked the wrong planet." He blurred forward, fists smashing through the swarm. Each punch sent ants flying like shattered machines. His heat vision cut a blazing arc, slicing through resin walls. Dozens of insects shrieked as they burned. But even with his speed and strength, the swarm didn't break. They adapted, surrounding him, crawling up his back, clawing at his shoulders. Superman ripped them off, slammed them into the ground, and blasted them with a thunderclap of super breath that tore the soil apart. The jungle shook with the sound of his fury. Deep below, in the hive, Spider-Man stirred. Resin cracked around his wrists as his spider sense screamed again. His eyes widened. He knew that sound. The earth rumbling, the sudden heat, the thunder like no storm could make. "Superman," he whispered, hope flickering. The Ant-Lord turned his head, mandibles twitching. He felt it too, the arrival of a rival far stronger than the colony had expected. "Kal-El," the Ant-Lord hissed, as if the name was poison. Spider-Man blinked. "Wait, you know him?" "Oh great, even the alien bug guy reads the Superman fan club newsletter." The Ant-Lord slammed his staff into the ground. The hive shook. Tunnels lit up with bioluminescent glow as thousands of ants surged upward, flooding toward the surface. Superman ripped through another wave of ants, his cape torn, his fists covered in alien slime. He could hear Peter's heartbeat faint and irregular, trapped somewhere below. He dove into the ground, smashing straight through soil and resin walls, carving a tunnel with his bare hands. Ants swarmed him in the darkness, biting, clawing, spraying venom, but nothing slowed him. His eyes lit the way, beams of red fire cutting through the hive. Finally, he broke into the central chamber, and there was Spider-Man, bound against the wall, mask torn but alive. "Spidey," Superman's voice echoed like thunder. Peter's eyes widened in relief. "Took you long enough, Big Blue. I was starting to think I'd be bug chow before you RSVP'd. Superman tore through the resin bonds as if they were paper, lifting Peter gently to the ground. "Rest. I'll handle this." But the Ant-Lord was already advancing, staff glowing with alien energy, his massive frame blocking the tunnel exit. "You are strong, Kryptonian, but even you cannot stop the swarm." The hive vibrated with his words. Thousands of ants poured in from every tunnel, their eyes glowing blue, their claws clicking in perfect rhythm. Spider-Man groaned, forcing himself upright despite his pain. "Yeah, about that. You're forgetting something." Superman's eyes glowed red. "You're not facing us one at a time." The chamber erupted in battle. Superman plowed through the Ant-Lord, crashing him into a resin wall, while Spider-Man leapt onto the swarm, his webs snapping in every direction. The hive shook with the fury of two heroes finally fighting side by side. But as the dust swirled and the ants regrouped, Superman realized something chilling. For every soldier they crushed, two more crawled from the depths. The colony wasn't weakening, it was growing. And somewhere deeper underground, more power pulsed. The Ant-Lord's rise. The hive shook with every blow. Superman tore through swarms like a living storm, his fists shattering resin walls, his heat vision slicing tunnels apart. Spider-Man fought beside him, darting and flipping, webs snapping in rapid bursts. The chamber echoed with screeches, roars, and the sound of collapsing stone. For a moment, it looked like the heroes might win. Ants fell in piles, resin cracked, and the air filled with smoke. But then, silence. The swarm froze. Every insect stopped moving at once, their glowing eyes shifting upward. The ground trembled. Something massive stirred in the depths. Spider-Man's spider sense screamed so violently he stumbled. Superman, I think round 2 just showed up." A fissure split the chamber floor. Green light poured from below. Rising from the depths came the Ant-Lord, transformed. He was no longer just a towering hybrid. His body had changed again. Thicker armor, spikes along his spine, for new arms sprouting from his sides. His mandibles dripped venom, and his eyes burned like molten fire. He spread his arms wide, voice echoing through the hive. The colony is eternal, and I am its god. Superman stepped forward, jaw tight. God or not, you're going back underground. The Ant-Lord swung his staff. A wave of psychic energy blasted outward, shaking the chamber. Spider-Man staggered, clutching his head as images flooded his mind. Visions of entire cities consumed, humans transformed into hybrids, Earth covered in alien resin. Superman, Peter gasped, he's in my head. Clark gritted his teeth. Ignore it. Focus. The Ant-Lord lunged. His staff cracked against Superman's chest, sending him crashing through a resin column. Before he could recover, two clawed arms grabbed him, slamming him into the ground. The hive floor splintered beneath the force. Spider-Man leapt onto the Ant-Lord's back, webbing his arms, yanking with all his strength. Hey, Bugzilla, ever hear of personal space? The Ant-Lord roared, shaking him off like dust. He hurled Spider-Man across the chamber. Peter smashed into the wall, his body screaming with pain. His mask was almost shredded, one eyepiece cracked. Superman shot back with a blazing beam of heat vision, but the Ant-Lord raised his staff, absorbing the energy. The staff glowed hotter, feeding on the attack. He grinned with mandibles spread wide. Your power is mine. Superman's eyes widened. He lunged faster than sound, ripping the staff from the Ant-Lord's hands, snapping it in half. The shards pulsed, then exploded in a burst of green flame. The Ant-Lord shrieked, staggering back. But instead of weakening, his body expanded, the alien energy fusing into his core. His new arms grew thicker, his exoskeleton shining with molten veins. Spider-Man's voice cracked with disbelief. You just leveled him up. Superman clenched his fists. Then we finish this before he grows any stronger. The Ant-Lord slammed his claws into the floor. A shockwave ripped through the hive. Tunnels burst open, and hundreds more ants poured in. Larger, faster, their bodies armored with glowing plates. The hive roared to life. Spider-Man groaned, dragging himself upright. Superman, this isn't just a fight anymore. It's a war. Superman helped him to his feet, eyes never leaving the Ant-Lord. Then we win the war. Together. The two heroes stood side by side as the swarm closed in, the Ant-Lord towering above them, his voice shaking the earth. This world will be remade, and you will be the first to fall. The hive exploded with movement. The final battle had begun. The final jungle war. The hive shook like a living heart. Resin walls cracked, tunnels split open, and thousands of alien human ants poured in from every direction. The Ant-Lord towered above them all, his body glowing with stolen energy, his roar shaking the jungle above. Spider-Man and Superman stood shoulder to shoulder, battered but unbroken. Not gonna lie, Peter muttered, web shooters clicking as he reloaded. This is the part where I usually make a bug spray joke, but I think we're way past comedy. Superman's eyes glowed red. Then let's finish it. The swarm launched. Superman blurred forward, his fists smashing through waves of ants. Every punch cracked armor. Every blow sent bodies flying. His heat vision carved blazing arcs through the hive, cutting tunnels apart. The swarm shrieked, but kept coming. Spider-Man swung high, flipping through the chaos, webs snapping like lightning. He wrapped resin pillars into slings, hurling them into groups of enemies. He ducked claws, dodged venom sprays, and fought with a ferocity born of desperation. But even as they fought, the hive pulsed stronger. The Ant-Lord raised his claws, channeling the energy of every soldier into himself. His body expanded further, his eyes burning like suns. This planet belongs to the colony, he thundered. The chamber shook. Resin cracked open, revealing the reactor core stolen from the lab, glowing unstable in the hive center. Spider-Man's eyes widened. Superman, if he absorbs that core, it's game over. He'll mutate the whole planet. Clark's jaw tightened. Then we destroy it. The heroes locked eyes. No words were needed. Superman charged the Ant-Lord, tackling him with a shockwave that shattered the chamber. They crashed into the reactor pit, trading blows that echoed like earthquakes. The Ant-Lord's claws slashed, sparks flying from Superman's chest. But Clark held him down, straining with every ounce of strength. "Now, Peter!" Spider-Man swung above the reactor, webs flying. He pulled every lever, every wire, forcing the unstable core into overload. Warning sirens blared, the reactor glowing brighter and brighter. The Ant-Lord shrieked, realizing too late. He thrashed against Superman's grip, mandibles snapping. "You will all burn." Superman roared, forcing him back against the reactor. Not today. The core exploded. Light consumed the hive. The ground split, tunnels collapsed, fire ripped through the jungle. Thousands of alien-human ants disintegrated in the blast, their screeches cut short. Resin melted, trees shook, the sky above lit like a second sun. When the smoke cleared, the hive was gone. Spider-Man lay on the ground, suit torn to ribbons, chest heaving. Superman staggered out of the rubble, holding Peter in one arm. His cape was shredded, his body scorched, but he was alive. The jungle was silent again. Peter groaned, coughing. "So, pizza? My treat." Clark allowed himself the smallest smile. "You never quit, do you?" "Not in my DNA." But as they turned toward the horizon, a faint sound broke the silence. A buzzing, soft but steady. From the ashes of the hive, a single winged figure crawled free. A queen, smaller than the Ant-Lord but glowing with the same alien fire. She spread her wings, rising into the night sky. Neither hero saw her. The jungle was safe for now, but the war for Earth was far from over.